Genesis 9, the Super Bowl of all majors. One of the longest running and most prestigious events in all of Super Smash Bros. History is back again with over 1,200 entrants, all striving for what could be only considered the holy grail of one's career, being crowned the Genesis champion. Smash Ultimate's fourth installment in the Genesis series continues that tournament's legacy with jaw-dropping runs from competitors coming from all around the world. My name is Hawk, and this is everything that happened at Genesis 9. With 2022 behind us, we've never come closer to crowning a new best in the world. We've seen the rise of young prodigies like Akala and Spargo, the hungrier than ever Light, and the newly reborn Tweak. It really makes you ask, who is the best in the world? Genesis 9 was a showcase of the best. 7 out of the top 10 ranked players were in attendance this January weekend, but time and time again, we have to be reminded that MKLeo has been undoubtedly number one since this game's inception.
There's been a lot of chatter out there about who's number one in the world. You got anything you want to say about it while I got you?
It seems like people forgot, but it's me. Surprise.
While he's recently underperformed compared to his standards with a 5th place finish at the Scuffboard Tour and 4th at Let's Make Big Moves, Leo wasn't all too pleased coming into the event as the 4th seed under Tweak, Akala, and Spargo. So he made it his mission to take the crown once more and become the 2nd player ever to win 3 Genesis trophies in a single Smash title. Top 8 was a beautiful amalgamation of talent, with players representing 5 different countries and 12 different characters shown throughout the night. Starting off with 2 intensely hot loser sets with both Spargo and Gluto winning in dominant 3-0 fashions, beating Akala and Tweak respectively, knocking both players out at 7th place. While in winner's side, we were treated to a runback from Let's Make Big Moves, Leo versus Sonics, and Light versus Muteace?
That's coming. He's like, I can punish right after. Oh, wait.
The up air gets the grab.
Damn.
Every time he gets that situation,
What? Neutral, are you serious?
Again, another percent.
Yeah, that's right. 39th in the world and widely considered to be the best Peach main, Muteace has had an on and off issue with hand pains, as has not entered as many brackets they would have hoped. But no pains of the world could have stopped the absolute power Mew brought to the table this weekend. Beating Meister, Akala, and Gluto, Muteace could not believe the level in which they were playing and was more excited than ever to continue their run on Sunday night. While loser side showed dominance, winners was the exact opposite, with both sets coming down to nail-biting Game 5s. Sonics would go up 2 games against Leo's Pyra and Mithra. Sticking to his guns, Leo decides to commit to the Aegis on what could possibly be the last game. As Leo becomes backed into the corner, Sonic ends up dropping an opportunity to kill him Game 3 and gets reverse 3-0'd in the process.
He's way up there, and Leo doing the front. Oh, you can't just run it like
not
that.
at all. Not at all.
Too strong with the back air.
If that set kept you on the edge of your seat, then you were in hell of a ride shortly after. Light and Mute finished up our winter semis matches with what can only be described as one of the best sets in Smash Ultimate history. Watching how both players adapted, controlled their space and pacing, and demonstrating the ability to kill you off of a single hit, this set was a Genesis classic. With each game going back and forth, it could have been anyone's, ending in a 30-second scramble with both players whiffing kill moves left and right, just hoping to secure their spot in winner's finals.
Gave up that roll.
You don't have shield for long. You don't have shield for long.
This is absolutely terrifying. Both these guys, the crowd cannot contain themselves. Who's going to flinch first is the question.
My man is getting tossed right now. Grab. Do not roll out that corner. You saw. Yeah, you got him last time. He's looking for it.
That's it. Oh my God. And Muteace moves on. We got to take MKLeo in winner's finals.
It would be Mew who would end up winning that exchange with a cross-up Nair at 143%. The 39th best player in the world now found himself with a true challenge, to face off for the first time ever against the best player in the world. Losers Quarters was next, and it was yet another Let's Make Big Moves rematch, Gluttony versus Sonics. While these players have fought very often in recent times, Gluto has found himself unsuccessful in beating the Blue Blur ever since his first and only victory over him at Pound 2022. Gluto, searching for an answer, finds himself trying Wolf, but Sonics was unfazed, clearing out Gluto's Wolf with an 8% 2-stock. Sticking to his tried and true, Gluto goes back to Wario, and while he managed to have some more success, this Hedgehog would prove to be too fast for him, and ends Gluto's run in 5th place. From slow and methodical to two of the fastest players Smash Ultimate's ever seen, Spargo vs. Light changed the pace for the entire night.
Go ahead and execute on that Firefox you have.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Soldier first class!
With both players having a relatively even set record, it has been Spargo who was coming in as the favorite, with him beating Light the last 4 encounters they've had with one another. Throughout all of top 8, Spargo's offense seemed to be turned up to a 10, with him suffocating his opponents with his pressure, never seeming no farther than an arm's length. Light is to be known as the most aggressive player in the game, but it was him on the back foot, trying to hold off Spargo's onslaught. Thankfully for Light, he was blessed with his home court advantage as he took Spargo to Lilat and won with a convincing 2-stock. This was the only time Lilat was seen in top 8. With an underdog story only right to be on the grandest stage of them all, Muteace vs. Leo left us in awe. Leo has expressed his negative feelings towards the Joker Peach matchup in the past. He believed that the extra range and keep away abilities of Byleth were much better suited for the matchup, and was sadly mistaken, as Mute would start winners finals in a shocking 2-0 fashion. Once Leo switched to Joker, he was able to find himself only a single game before losing a last hit situation in game 4.
King of these last second scramble situations, we have been in this for a while. Another minute of scramble. Who's getting it before there? Across the stage.
He's going to grand final.
He did it. We saw.
Do you guys think that the legend of Game 4 Leo is no longer? Let us know down in the comments. And while you're there, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. With 4 players left, we found ourselves in loser semis. Light vs. Sonics continued the never-ending Game 5 train. However, Light found himself still undefeated against Dominican Republic's best player. Sonics has been looking lost in the past, but continues to make changes to his gameplay in regards to the matchup and is slowly catching up to Light at every event. We're now on to losers finals. Can anybody write a better script for the event? Light came out of the gate hot, making Leo simply look lost in the matchup, going up 2-0. But if you've been watching from the beginning, you've seen this situation before. When all seems lost, Leo finds himself crawling back once again from what seems impossible, clutching out a game 3 with a beautiful offstage gun into fair stage spike, in which Light missed one of the only techs he's missed all year. Leo, with this newfound confidence, proceeds to dissect Light with a 2-stock in game 4 and JV 2-stock in game 5. Leo, for the second time in this top 8, has made a reverse 3-0 comeback, and now proceeds on to grand finals. During Grands, Mute pushed Leo to deliver only the very best if he'd wish to win this event. With almost every game going into a last stock situation, both players went back and forth, deleting any possible lead one would have over the other. Mute's pressure would make any other player crumble, but Leo's veins remain cold. Unfortunately for Muteace fans around the world, their end would be halted by Leo, who would finish up Grands and Grands Reset, both 3-1. Leo's run at Genesis is something to be remembered. While the chips were stacked up against him, he proved that at the end of the day, he is still the best in the world, and he will not go down without a fight. While top 8 was filled with familiar faces and fan favorites, I want to take the time to highlight some of the best runs that might have gone unnoticed to some of the fans out there. From content creator to one of the best players in the world once more, Mars came to prove that he is more than your average turbo teabagger. His run started quite uneventful, not dropping a single game in round 1 pools, continuing that trend up until his winner side top 64 qualifier against Moxie, in which he would fall to the Georgia Wolf main in a nail-biter Game 5 set. The former Genesis 7 winner was unfazed, however, continuing where he left off in winners, beating Western Washington's #1 player H4. Rather it be the Genesis stage, the fans in attendance, or a mission to prove everyone wrong, Mars became unhinged, picking up wins on Naito Sharp, Big Boss, Leon, Sisqui, and Dabuz. Despite Mars losing to Dabuz the last 5 sets they've played, his fire was too bright to extinguish.
Non, il va pas le refaire.
Mars would find himself making it all the way to the loser side top 8 qualifier against the king of the French dimension himself. Before this encounter, their lifetime set count was slightly in Mars' favor in 3-2, with their last encounter being over 3 years ago at Main Stage 2019. With every game coming down to the wire, Gluto was able to find cracks in Mars' armor, ending Game 5 with a dominant 2-stock finish. It's now time to take a trip up to the Great White North. 4 Canadians reached top 64 this weekend, some with great success, while some unfortunately did not meet their expectations. Riddles, coming out strong with his 7th place finish at Let's Make Big Moves, did not show us the dominance we're used to seeing out of the Kazuya Mishima legend. Losing to SoCal's #1 player Chase, and then defeating the Genesis 2019 runner-up Void, before going down to the French Lucina, Leon, to bow out at 33rd place. Chase and Leon's knowledge of the matchup seemed plentiful, with intense CQC bait and punishing, as well as an insanely strong punish game, keeping Kazuya in the air or at the ledge, making the most out of any hit possible. Both players were able to keep Riddles guessing in situations that were simply not in his favor. While not the best placing for the Big House 2022 champion, the year has just begun, and we can only assume that the FGC enthusiast will come back stronger and possibly yet take another trophy on his path to the top. Next up is the best ice climbers main in the world, Big D. Coming in at 17th seed of the event, Big D did, well, just that. Getting there, though, was no easy feat, besting players such as Colorado 8, Send, and Andres FN, all in a 3-1 fashion, losing to both Zamba and Akola. Another fantastic performance from one of the most underrepresented characters, and yet another reminder that Big D is a big threat at the highest levels. Tying with our lovable duo for 17th place is fellow Canadian Steve player, Soar. With impressive performances at Shine 2022 and Get On My Level, Soar continues to fly high. Losing to Andric in winners quarters of round 2 pools, Soar went on the longest losers run of the entire tournament, winning 7 straight sets, beating the likes of T3 Dom, Kairos, Valor, and one of their best wins to date, Meister. Zomba would prove to be too much for Soar, ending his bracket run in a 3-0 set. Be sure to keep your eye out on Soar. Being 113th on the latest Orion ranking, this may just be the start of an amazing 2023 for the bright young player. Ending this string of amazing talent coming up from the north is one of the best Wolf players you've probably never seen. Ouch is the 3rd best player in Canada according to the 2023 Orion rank. But unless you tune into your Canadian local, you most likely haven't seen much of one of the flashiest Wolves around. Going to only 6 majors in all of 2022 and 4 outside of Canada, Ouch never disappoints, squashing his 28th place seed and getting 9th, taking out Wolf Brethren Orion in a last hit situation 3-2. He would continue his warpath, eliminating Jade Dizzle, upsetting Kameme, and defeating Now, the Japanese Mario, who also had a lightning in a bottle run, finishing at 13th while being 56th seed. With 2023 just beginning, we hope to see Ouch come down to the States more often to see his true potential once and for all. While we can't list how everyone performed this weekend, we still want to shout out a couple extra players before we end today. Justice ends their run with a solid 25th place with wins on Jojo de Hobo, Pina, and Moxie. Most surprisingly, taking MKLeo to Game 5 in a top 64 qualifier in which Leo was forced to pull out Rob after Justice would 2-stock his Joker Game 1. Stay tuned as we plan on making a video discussing Leo's specific counterpicking towards Fighter Pass 2 characters. Last but certainly not least, we want to highlight the Japanese Mario main Now. As mentioned before, Now destroyed his 56th seed projection, but the path he took there was one of the best runs of the entire weekend, scoring wins over H4, Chag, Craig, Goblin, Sigma, and Vendetta. Now has traveled 3 times to compete in the States so far, with 49th place finishes at Pound 2022 and Genesis 8, and has only 21 events ever recorded. With such little experience, it seems to be only a matter of time before we see Japan's next rising star. Well, that's going to be it for Genesis 9. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at NevermoreINT, and me at JuniorHawk_. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.